I'm back with a another Hunter x Hunter chapter review as I'm making my way through what's left of Hunter x Hunter, and the ending of this completely 100% caught me off guard. You guys, I was not expecting it. I'm glad nobody spoiled it, and holy crap, I didn't see this coming from a mile away. Now, I knew that Togashi is periodically killing off all the princes now, because Sal, or whatever his name was, choked to death in the last chapter after losing his Nen Beast. And then at the beginning of this one, the big banquet starts, the banquet that they've been talking about for all these chapters now. It starts, and they're like, oh, Sal won't be here because he's a little under the weather, which I thought was pretty funny. Just morbid sense of humor, I suppose. And the banquet starts, and there was a couple of things that I was really looking forward to with this banquet. Number one is what Melody was going to do, because it was built up that Melody was going to play her flute. She was going to do a song of some sort. We know her Nen ability is connected to her attachment to music, and so that really could have been anything. And I had a couple of speculations on what it might be, and it pretty much wound up being what I thought it was. Not that I'm disappointed by that, but I was saying that she was probably going to put people into a trance of some sort, or, get them kind of like aloof so that something could happen. I also thought that maybe she could like implant some kind of idea into people's heads through the music too, which wasn't quite the case, but the first one was. So she is doing that while the two princes that are like the two females, not princesses, but princes, because everyone's a prince regardless of gender, because gender doesn't matter, you guys. Equality, right? Everyone gets to die. So, what is it? Fugetsu and Kacho. Okay. So these are the two princes that they're around the same age, and they've been like best buddies like forever, and they're trying to get out of this together. And Fugetsu has the ability where her Nen Beast isn't actually a beast. It's just a doorway that can be created where she can essentially go anywhere. She can decide to go anywhere through this doorway, and this is how she got from the top level of the ship, and she wound up on like the third level, and she was found, and they were like, holy shit, what's a prince doing down here? Like, you can't be down here, and they wound up getting her back up. So she's been experimenting with this Nen Beast that she has, this Nen doorway. But the other one, Kacho, we haven't seen her Nen Beast, and she's the only prince who hasn't had a Nen Beast manifested yet. And I didn't even realize this. Like, while reading the last chapter, or the one before this, I finally like thought about it, and I'm like, wait, we have not seen her Nen ability, because she kept saying she wanted Melody to play at this banquet, right? And I just never thought, because there was so much going on, there's so fucking much going on in this arc, that I really didn't even think about it. I was like, oh yeah, it showed all the Nen Beasts. We know all these princes have Nen Beasts, but no, Kacho's was never shown until this chapter, and it seriously, like, it threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting it whatsoever. So, spoiler alert, obviously I'm reviewing these chapters, so I'm going to talk about the finale. Well, actually, let me get to the Melody thing real quick. So while this banquet goes on, there's lots of performances that happen. One is a rap battle, which I'm kind of glad there was no dialogue for that, but yeah, I was thinking, like, if I saw this in anime form, I would definitely want to see that rap battle happen. So if we ever get an anime adaptation continuing the story and we get into this Succession War arc, I really, really hope we see that rap battle. But anyways, Melody gets to her performance, and she starts playing the flute, and again, she's kind of like putting people into a trance of music. Like, as long as she's playing, they're kind of like lifted. And this sort of rings true, because we have those songs, or we have those moments where we're listening to music, and we are kind of transported to another place where 3.5, 4 minutes go by, we're listening to the song, and then we just realize at the end of it we haven't done anything. We've just been sitting there in kind of like a trance-like state. So that's kind of like a real thing that happens, just enhanced with Nen, right? So that's what she does, and one of the bodyguards leads Fugetsu and Kacho to this escape pod, this escape ship at the bottom of the ship. And so they leave, and this is part I was a little confused about, because they're going down the tunnel in the escape ship, they're in there together, but when they reach the outside of the ship, there's all these things that look like hands that are like grabbing towards them. And I wasn't sure exactly what this was supposed to be. At first I thought it was just the rapids of the waves of the water that they are around. They're in like really bad water territory, but that they were very specifically drawn like hands. So I'm thinking maybe with the Succession War, with the ritual that's happening, maybe they aren't allowed to leave this space. Maybe the king made it like that's part of the ritual, so that they have to be in this confined space together while the Succession War is going on. And what someone else mentioned to me, that maybe the Succession War itself is some kind of ritual in order to gain passage to the Dark Continent, and that would lead, more like barriers, I guess, that would have to be created, because if we have to confine it to perform this ritual, then there's no escape. You know, you're stuck in it. Just like Halkenberg in the last chapter is trying to escape even by killing himself, and he can't. They're stuck in the Succession War no matter what they do. They cannot escape. Death is not an escape. Well, I mean, you can die, but then you're out. You're out anyways, and you're dead. So, yeah, you cannot escape the Succession War. So they decide, okay, so let's try to go back, but we can't go back, so Fugetsu creates her doorway, and they go through, and Fugetsu gets to the other side, and Kacho's not there, and she's like, oh shit, you know, come on, come on, come on, and then Kacho comes out of the doorway, and everything's happy. It's like, okay, you know, we couldn't make it off the ship, but we're still in this together, you know, I love you, you love me, this sort of thing. And then we find out what Kacho's Nen Beast is. And this goes along with the themes that have been running through this arc of Nen getting stronger after death. So apparently Kacho's Nen Beast was set up to, whether Kacho or Fugetsu died, that her Nen Beast would only appear afterwards, taking the form of whichever one of the two of them died, to help comfort and guide the other. So we see Fugetsu Kacho come through the door, and her and Fugetsu kind of lay down together, and, you know, they're upset that they couldn't escape, but they're happy that they're together. And then it fucking cuts to the escape pod in the ocean, and we just see the dead body of the real Kacho still in there. And it was just, like, so tragic and heartbreaking, and I'm not even, like, super attached to these characters, but you know, seeing their bond, you know, their sibling bond, and like wanting them to escape together, I was like, oh, you know, good. Like, I figured they wouldn't actually escape because, you know, it is a story like that, so we're gonna have some dramatic tension. But I just didn't expect that. When she came through the doorway, I thought that they were both there and they were both safe, and just this was a opportunity that was not granted to them. But instead, so now Kacho is actually dead, but there is a copy of her with Fugetsu, which is her Nen Beast. So her Nen Beast took on the form of herself, so Nen gets stronger after death with, you know, intense conviction. We see that, so that's what that is all about. So now Fugetsu doesn't know this. She thinks that that's just actually her sister. And my question is, are other people going to be able to see this Kacho? Because we know that Nen is invisible to people that can't see it. You have to actively train and know how to use Nen yourself in order to be able to perceive it. So are people going to be able to even see Kacho? I'm wondering about that. And it's going to be like Fugetsu's like imaginary friend basically is her dead sister. And is she going to find out that this isn't actually her sister, but this is a Nen Beast instead? But holy crap, that reveal though, that switch was done fantastically. Like, Togashi is an amazing writer, and Hunter x Hunter is one of those series, and I'm telling you, if you are an aspiring writer of any sort, storytelling, of character development, anything like that, Hunter x Hunter is the series to read or watch, because it will take you on journeys you never expected to go down. It will switch up things, and it's not that it just subverts your expectations just to do it. When Hunter x Hunter subverts your expectations, it leads you onto another path that you didn't know you wanted, but by the end of it, you couldn't imagine the story without it. You know, there's a lot of writers out there, a lot of stories and movies that will just do, like, will subvert your expectations just because they want to say, like, bet you didn't see that coming. But when Hunter x Hunter does it, it's done so, like, exquisitely. And it gives you so much more than what you were already wanting. So it gives you what you want, but it gives you so much more than that as well. And with this, I didn't see this coming, and this ending affected me. And I'm not even super attached to these characters, and I got affected by it. And that is just good writing and just good storytelling. So thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to get some more Hunter x Hunter reviews out until I'm all caught up, and then I will be able to suffer with all of you. So I'm excited for that. Like this video, subscribe if you want to. Talk to you next time.